My presentation is called Following Your Dreams, and I'm Gardite Fougy. I'm the founder of Unbreakable Voices. So again, there's a worksheet, fill it out. We'll be revisiting it throughout the presentation. So I'm gonna start off with this meme. Caring about what people think of you is useless. Most people don't even know what they think of themselves. By me putting up this meme, I just want you to take the time to really think about yourself, your life, and the adversities that you've been through and have conquered, and you're standing or sitting here before me. Does it really matter like what people really think about you and what you're about to do with your business? So getting started. So pretty much this is the agenda. We're going to be talking about starting your business, which is a leap of faith, in my opinion. Making sure there's something you really have is there something that you have a passion for? What is your passion? What are your strengths? What do you feel that you can contribute to the world? What does your funds look like? Which is kind of an important question when it comes to starting your own business. What does your support system look like, which is very critical to you advancing in your career and in your business. Then we'll go over final thoughts and my business info. Okay, another meme. You cannot heal in the same environment you got sick. So pretty much just want you to reflect like recently or even in the recent past. Here you are, you're coming to the small biz buffet and you've been either just starting your business or you're about to start your business or you've been running your business for a while. Kind of think about like what have been the barriers, like what's been kind of going on or what's been helpful to you. I've noticed for me in my life that a lot of reasons why I couldn't move forward in my life or even when it came to starting my business is just the environment I was in and recognizing what was in my environment so I can kind of move forward and make my decision in starting my business. Okay, so starting your business is a leap of faith. It's a life-changing decision. For me, I lean on my faith. I'm spiritually grounded. I go to church weekly, and that kind of helps me as far as staying placed and grounded. I usually, talk to, the bishop who's part of my church, and I talk to him about certain matters and everything, and he can be very, encouraging. So, I'm not sure if faith plays a role for each and every person here, but for me it plays a huge role. And also I get strength from encouraging passages or affirmations and quotes. So I have a question for you all. What encourages you as business owners? Anybody? Go ahead.
Flexibility.
Yeah.
Like I love being able to just work when I want and not work when I don't. Put it simply, but no, I have a family and just like I have a family, and kind of why I started doing it myself is because being a chef is like trying to maintain a family, and be a chef was just like unrealistic.
Yeah.
I always had to work nights, holidays, whatever else. And I'm a family man. I like being on my family, and that just got tired. So I like having the flexibility of being, I can still make my money and still
Exactly.
make it to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah. Anybody else?
Well, I would agree with that. I was gonna say with that, like, sort of the freedom that, you know, you sort of touched upon, right? Like, I often think that, especially depending on your industry, particularly with small businesses,
Yeah.
you know, and nonprofit life, like, you know, your passion, you're sort of expected to be like the price that you pay to do what you love. And, you know, so being able to establish something on your own is really giving you that freedom and flexibility to say, like, sure, I'm passionate about what I do and the services that I can provide, but I also understand that there needs to be balance and compensation for the amount of time and energy and effort that I'm putting into it. Not everything happens between the hours of 9 to 5, and
Right.
being able to, you know, sort of set the tone and the stage for that yourself, I think is really valuable.
Right, so that's what I was going to say. So it sounds like you just value, you just want to be valued pretty much. And,
Right.
you know, starting your own business gives you that freedom to feel valued. It's kind of like self-empowered.
Exactly.
Empowered. Yeah. So that goes to the next thing, like, what's your passion? What's your interest? Not just what you're doing for your business currently, but what do you want to do in the future? How do you want to expand your business? And or how do you want to maybe change your business, or maybe you want to do something completely different out of the box? Like, what's in your mind as far as how do you want to move forward, like in the next couple years? You know, what excites you? What are you good at? So, I mean, there's certain things that might excite you, but maybe you're not really good at it. Maybe you need some training around it, and then maybe you can do it. You can jump into it. Or what do you wish you can do? So, you know, maybe, you know, like you said, you're a chef, but maybe you want to, you know, do youth empowerment or something like that. And how do you get into that? Do you need classes for that? Like, do you have a mentor that you go to? Like, so, like, what do you see yourself for, like, 2019, like, as far as expanding your business? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I'm pointing at you.
Yeah, I've got answers for all of this. So
Oh, you do? Let's do it. Let's do it.
So, my passion, honestly, right now, my passion is honestly empowering others. I really like giving others the opportunity to learn a trade for themselves and make a living doing it, and then in turn, they, you know, take care of whatever responsibility they have and taking care of their families. And my passion right now is kind of just being my own owner and not having to answer to somebody else who doesn't agree with me, my religion, my sexuality, my everything, you know, my color, my religion. I don't have to keep answering to somebody that doesn't agree with me and have to swallow my pride and my dignity in order to pay my bills, you know.
Yeah.
My passion where I'm at right now.
Anybody have passions that they're looking forward to doing for 2019? Anybody?
More design.
Okay. What kind of design?
Graphic.
Oh,
I
okay.
like the web design, but definitely more graphic, branding, logos, that kind of thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
So I
awesome.
have my own business, like, I am my own boss, and I still don't get to do what I want to do. Just for some insight.
Okay. So next we're going to talk about your strengths. So, you know, thinking about owning your own businesses, and starting up your businesses. For me, I think I use my strengths to start my business. So I'm very compassionate, I'm very loving, I'm very caring, and that's what I do. And I always talk to people anyway. I do other things on the side, and I empower and coach other people as well. So therefore, for me, this was like a no-brainer. So that's what I use as far as my foundation for my business. Anybody have strengths that they want to share that they use for their business? Anyone?
So I don't have a business, but I'm just like recent college students taking classes right now, just in general courses.
Yep.
But I was just wondering, when you say strengths, what, like you said that you're really good at like speaking to people, kind of
Yeah.
like talking about. What did you do like in the past to kind of like help you see your strengths? And, like, how did you know that like that you're going to be able to talk to people like they're on like kind of like able to like you others doing?
You know what really helped me, honestly, as being in an environment where I can be who I really am, and doing so and being able to kind of let down my guard and be able to explore who I am. I was able to find my strengths, as I moved along, as I learned more skills in that position. I learned my strengths. So I think it takes experience. A lot of the reason why I stand before you is because of everything that I've been through. I have, been through a lot of traumatic situations, and after I've actually passed through it and I'm on the other side now, I can kind of help pull someone else. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing now, so I can empower someone else and tell them that they can get through it as well. So that, just everything all my experiences, everything I've been through, that's why I'm standing before you today, able to speak on it. So I think just experience, having a good mentor, reaching out to a good mentor that can kind of coach you and help you around figuring out kind of what direction that you need to go to is really helpful. Yeah.
I think another way I think you can find out the strengths and weaknesses is simple feedback. I think that I always look for feedback. Sometimes people are scared to give it, but that's how I find out what my strengths and weaknesses are. I look for the feedback. What people say, and if people are saying the same things over and over again, you kind of know those are your strengths. And what people might not be saying, are those weaknesses. Like people always think that I'm very entertaining and very professional at one time, and I know those are some of my strengths. I don't always do my strengths. I also one of the things I kind of hold on. The other things are, I got to work on. But I'm always getting feedback and being receptive to feedback. I think is the big key too. A lot of people are scared to get feedback or be open criticism. And if you're running a business, that's what's going to help you. And like one of the things they always say is a chef, like I like certain things. I like my dishes a certain way, but not everybody likes it that way. So how I get that feedback is asking people how they like their dishes, or ways that people do things at home, or whatever else. Like you might like it a whole different way than I like it. Everybody has a different way to like French toast or whatever else. And it's like feedback that always helps you. Surveys, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point. So we're gonna go to the next slide. What are your contributions? And what I mean by contributions, I mean not just to your business, but to your community. I feel like being a Black business owner in particular, that's one of my responsibilities, is to give back and reach out and give back to my community. So I want to know what your experiences are around that, around giving back to your community and empowering your community.
So I volunteer to help a church. Anytime that they have a function, I take care of all the finances.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like that.
That's pretty cool. So you do that like part-time, full-time?
Oh, no.
Or you just volunteer?
That's my giving back. No, I'm a realtor.
Oh, cool.
I do have a degree in accounting, but I just
that's
stopped
awesome.
doing that, and I just wanted to, they were just trying to kill us, basically. People were passing out from long hours and falling out of their chair, and I was spinning somebody's inside twice and tough.
Wow.
And I just said, they came around and started talking about going back there. I said, you going back there? I said, so it's a better thing. You need to go back there. So they're like, what can we do to help you do more? No, you're not listening.
in 24.
Yeah. Yeah, listening is a very important part to all of this. If you can't listen, then it's going to be really difficult. Do you have any suggestions, any contributions?
Yeah, my parents always raised us to give back as well, you know, and if you're a Christian, which I am, I think the Bible says, you know, if a lot is given to you, then you have a lot of responsibility.
Right.
So for me, I love, I've worked in human resources before that, I practiced law, and I've delivered a lot of workshops on helping people get jobs and also helping people explore the desire if they want to have a business to own their own business. So it's basically, you know, how come you never hear back when you submit the resumes, and how can you actually get in for an interview, and you know, how do you navigate the world of work, because it's tough and it's getting harder.
Yeah.
And I really try to help people see too that as I was explaining, entrepreneurship is really the future.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So I've done libraries, churches, and workshops there for
Yeah.
free.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Anybody else?
We are very, very excited that we donate 10 hours of marketing services to the King Recruitment Center.
We are equally excited.
Depending on how many clients we have, so that's kind of, you know, a nice way to keep doing what you do and just do it for benefits.
Right.
I was gonna say the same thing. I think that for both of our business models, like being able to pay it forward is something that's part of our like business plan. You know, whether it's doing pro bono work or being able to take a portion of the proceeds that you do through your work and sort of donate that or pay it forward or you know, help somebody else start their business. I think that there are a lot of creative ways that that you can you know, sort of lift up the next person while you're doing the same for yourself.
Right, I agree.
100%.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's what the time's called for now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like the government is not looking to help everybody, you know, live the way they should be. And people need to stop sitting back and waiting for it.
I was just gonna say, I was like, nor should, you know, we shouldn't be like, relying on that. You know?
I call it like the Little House in the Prairie days.
So true, though, yeah.
I call it Little House because Little House on the Prairie days, like if you wanted school teaching, you went to the local teacher
Right.
to get teaching, or you went to the local carpenter or the local electrician. Like you don't have to call GE and all these big companies.
Right.
Your next door neighbor that got laid off as a carpenter and looking for work.
Exactly.
There's a guy that lives in your area that's an electrician. There's a librarian in your area. There's a teacher. There's a daycare person in your area. You know, it's like that's what I feel like everybody needs to start doing. Everything's shutting down or whatever else, and it's like you see like the Amazon making all this money, not paying any taxes on it. Like, don't get me started. And that's the way. Like each one needs to reach out and I go to a lot of workshops and they say like a lot of small, like the economy is being sustained right now by small businesses. It's not the big companies. It's the small businesses, the entrepreneurs that are giving the jobs out and stuff.
Exactly.
So that's
Right.
how people are gonna, you know, if I can hire 3 people, then that makes it equal. It ain't a whole bunch, but it's better than, you know, with some kid running out on the street or whatever, or whatever else.
Well, and I think too, like what you're saying is like, I mean, it's not just about sort of like giving them the job, right?
Yeah.
Like we're passing on ideals. Like, you know, it's
Tools,
about being
knowledge,
self-sustainable.
everything. Yeah.
It's about like relying on the community for support. It's about
Right.
like, all of these things. Like being able to afford your own freedom. Like, you know,
I agree.
I think that that's an amazing
Yeah.
thing.
Opportunity goes so far.
Right.
Like, and I always go back to like when I was a kid. You know, one of the things I wish they stopped telling me was I was going to get there and went to jail by 18 because I believed that. I believed that for so long. And it was like I didn't believe I could be anything more than a rapper and a basketball player because that's what was told to me.
Right.
It's like all somebody had to do was just give me a paintbrush or something else and be like, here, this is the trait, this is something else you can do. And it goes a long way. You know? It's
Right.
like I started washing dishes and now I'm a caterer. I am my own caterer. So it's like that first step, you never know what it's going to be.
I totally agree. That's awesome. So another meme, instead of begging for a seat, build your own table. So pretty much what we were just talking about, right?
I'm style. I feel like
I
I'm
know, right?
No, it's okay. It's cool.
Nah, I like interacting like this because, like I said, each one.
Well, that's how you.
each one,
Well, that's how
we
you
all need to
learn.
go
Is
together,
to
yeah.
interact.
You know, it's called create your own job.
Yeah.
Instead
Exactly.
of waiting for somebody to give you one, to create your own.
And it's really not as hard. Some of them are really not as hard as you
Exactly.
think. $200, you get your own business.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
just do the homework.
It's also about changing mindset, because I feel myself like for many years I was in this mindset like, well, all I'm gonna do is be on welfare and SNAP benefits and, you know what I'm saying, subsidies. That's all I can do. There's no end to it. Where's there an end? You know, where's their hope? You know what I mean? And I think it just takes, like you said, someone reaching out to you and showing you a different way. You know what I mean? So, you know, and so that goes into our next subject. So what do your funds look like? So, you know, it doesn't, like he says, it doesn't take a lot to, you know, depending on what you're doing. But it's a topic that's always part of your discussion. I mean, come on, like, how are you going to do everything without money? You do need some front money, you know what I mean? But what about funds? Like, do you, you know what I'm saying, do you ask someone to borrow it, or did you save a little bit of money to fund it, or did you have an investor, credit? You know what I mean? There's certain ways to do it. Like, you can, if you just get your EIN number, for instance, like, you can open your own bank account, but if you want to build a business account or business credit account, they usually use your personal credit score. So it's like, is that something you want to do? Is that something you can do at that particular point in time? So there's a lot of factors that go into it. I would suggest that you kind of shop around, because, you know, the bigger the bank, probably more fees and everything like that. And, you know, depending on exactly what kind of business you're doing, you might need, you know, some capital. You might need an investor. You might need, you know. So, I mean, depending on your situation, that's how you would go forth as far as the funding. So what has been your experience around, like, funding? Have you, you know, borrowed it from your mom or your auntie or uncle, or were you able to save some money? Like, how were you able to get some money in order to start your businesses? Anybody want to share? Sure.
So the businesses in which I started, low startup costs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm one for really debt freedom.
Yeah.
You know, I too am a Christian, and you know, the word's clear: the borrower is slave to the lender.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think you know, one of the things that I do in my business is financial literacy. I do coaching. And so a lot of people really believe that OPM is the way to go, and they end up broke because they can't manage, you know, cash flow. They don't have it. And so I think, you know, what I've done is I've saved the money for the businesses, and I think some lines of credit I've used, but you know, one of the last things in my, you know, I belong to a veterans business owner group, and the training that we do is to provide people, you know, to prepare people to be lender ready. So I think the big thing is for people to be educated about what the lenders are actually looking for.
Right.
And you actually have to have a pretty decent debt-to-income ratio.
Correct.
If you don't understand those things, it's going to be really hard, because there's so many businesses out there doing what some people aspire to do, and lenders are not going to take a risk on them, especially if they don't have any skin in the game.
Can I just?
Yeah, definitely, China.
Shameless plug here, but I work for this community development financial institution. So what we do is that we are a lending institution. So for people who are looking to, I guess, either gain capital or who need funds who don't usually have access to like banks or other institutions, we can help you, either help provide you a loan, or if you're looking to raise more capital for your businesses and you need some restructuring in the financial sector, we also work with that. So if any of you would like to talk to me after about that, like, feel free to do so.
Cool. Awesome. That's pretty awesome. Great.
Oh yeah, yes. We work with
Yeah.
So this is a me that obviously screenshotted. But hey, so I thought it would be so helpful for this presentation. 5 types of people to surround yourself with. So someone that the inspired, motivated, open-minded, the passionate, the grateful. I think a huge part of whether someone succeeds or doesn't is by who's in your circle. Because, if you have people that you don't trust or you think you can trust and they're just not at that level, or they're not aspiring to be more than they are, that can kind of really not just hurt you as a person, but can hurt your business as well. Because, networking is how you build your business. So if your network isn't pretty strong, chances are you kind of taking a risk with your business. Sure.
I think the good thing about this too is whatever your weaknesses are, that's the people you want to surround yourself with. That's one of the things I'm trying to train myself right now, because I have a lot of strengths in a lot of different areas, but one of the things I hate doing is communicating and like event planning with people. And I know that's where I lack, and I'm one of those like, you're too small. Because I hate doing that part of it. And
That's why you're here at a networking event, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
So you can network.
Yeah, but that's what you gotta surround yourself with. Whatever you're not strong in, you gotta surround yourself with people that. And just to piggyback on what you were saying about not getting lenders and stuff like that, I think that another good thing to do is surround yourself with people that are just as passionate and take the business as serious as you are. Because I feel like, no disrespect to anybody, but I feel like most lenders are not going to lend to anybody. So I feel like most of the time that option is not really obtainable like that until you gain capital. So I feel like the best way to do it is bootstrap it or getting some colleagues and friends to get together and start it up on your own, because a lot of businesses don't actually take that much to get started, especially if you're like your own private like person. Like you can, I could be a private chef tomorrow with just my name.
Yeah. Want to tag?
I hate to say this, but I think especially for those of us who are people of color,
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but sometimes that means you gotta let Aunt Thelma go, man. You gotta cut loose family
Yeah.
who just don't have the same vision and
Right.
who aren't gonna support you in it and keep hounding you and saying, why are you doing this? And
Can I get a free cake?
Everybody always wants something for free. But you're looking for the people who are going to say, how can I support your business? What products do you have that I can buy? And I hate to say this, but sometimes it's people in our own families that you just have to cut loose.
Yeah.
Or, only see them at Thanksgiving, that's it.
So what does your system look like? So I want you guys to think about like who's in your circle. Who can you be emotionally vulnerable with? Because when you have a business or just life in general, you need at least 1 to 2 people that you can kind of go to in times of need or reflection. Who's your support system? Who your support system is can, like I said, reflect and affect your business and your surroundings. What can you do with people that are pretty much toxic that's in your circle? And how can you move forward positively? So I know I gave you the sheet. You can refer to it. But as far as people that are in your circle that are toxic, like now that we've had this conversation and we're having a really open discussion about it, is there anybody currently in your circle that is toxic that you feel like, okay, you know what, this person's not really helping me, whether it's business-wise or personal? And, you know, does anybody have any examples that they can share with the group?
My ex-wife.
Oh boy.
You know what? And I'm gonna pause for a cause, 'cause that's why I'm texting right now.
Oh boy. Woosah.
No, but you know, I'm thinking about this, and one of the goals for me that I didn't record, but one of the goals for me this year is what we, you know, this focus that we just talked about around toxicity, right? She's very toxic, okay, and tries to use my children to manipulate my finances, right? And for a number of years, and I think these are really great tools and a wonderful presentation. But one of the things you said, you asked the question, what's holding you back?
Yeah.
Right? So I launched my business back in 14, right? And because of all these kinds of toxicities coming from, you know, her knowing what my aspirations were and goals and trying to get buy-in and support, right? And she totally went in a different direction, which led to the demise of our marriage. And now still trying to financially drain me. You know, can I do this? Can I do the kids, the children? It's like I'm taking full responsibility for my children and beyond. So I've had to set boundaries.
Exactly.
And say, no, enough, or here's something else, and I'll be quiet. If I give you this money, it's a loan, and you're going to repay me the money, and I have the means for her to pay me because the house has to go, and she's in it. So, I mean, but this is one of the things that, you know, we look at our personal, and Cheryl was talking about that, cutting off people that really don't fully support what we're doing. You know, why would you do something like that? That's stupid. Or you said you were going to do this. It's like, well, you're contributing to me not succeeding. So if I cut you off and start focusing over here, maybe I can progress and achieve the goals that I have for my business.
Right. I think what you pointed out, like boundaries, that's been like a huge, you know, thing for me, and took me a while to set up. And you know, I also have an ex-husband, so I when I tell you I totally get that, I totally get that. The hindrance and the toxicity, sometimes whether they mean to or not, they have their own past, and I've had to realize that. You know, I'm a counseling major, so I know a lot about this, and I kind of do this pretty much every day. But you know, they have their own things that's holding them back in their life, and you know, the only person that we can help is ourselves. So setting up those boundaries and realizing, like, look, this is something I'm not going to tolerate is very, very important. And as far as moving forward in your networking, you know, as far as your business or even your networking personally, you know, finding out what your likes and dislikes are, what you're willing to tolerate or not, is a huge part of moving forward in a positive manner. So that I really encourage you to figure out, if you don't know now, like figure out, like, okay, what's my boundaries? What am I willing to take? What am I not willing to take? And make sure you let it be known and stick to it, because that's the thing. It's one thing setting up a boundaries, but it's also sticking to it. And when you kind of keep breaking, I mean, it's kind of like a child, right? You know, I have 3 of them, so a lot of work. But you know, it's like when you have a child, if this child keeps putting their hand in that cookie jar and you tell them, no, you can't touch it, and you don't say, well, now I told you can't touch this cookie, or you can't have, you know, video game time, you can't have computer time, whatever. And if they keep you have to set that boundary and stick to it, so that way they see that you're serious. If you're gonna keep not following through, they're gonna be like, well, I can do whatever I want. I can step all over them, and that's okay. That's what you teach someone how to treat you, right? So I really encourage you guys to really think about that as far as your circle, as far as moving your business forward, is to think about like what your boundaries are and how you can set those boundaries and continue moving on. You have something to say?
I would just add, in addition to boundaries, which I think are important, I think I would even add standards as closely related.
Yes.
I'll try to do this quickly because I have two sides of the same coin where I depended on friends and family, which was great because I had a lot of personal issues, I needed help, so it was really great. But maybe I did it a little too long and didn't really fit my needs. So I kept turning over. Then I finally found someone qualified. In fact, I found maybe a few too many people who were qualified, and then did the exact opposite and had too many qualified people, which then led me to trying to pay for people who I wasn't ready to pay for financially. So also really having standards and knowing what you're ready for. So whether it's knowing the quality or the talents or the skills of the people that are around you and knowing exactly what you need and matching those two things up, or knowing exactly how many people maybe you need, making sure that you have long-term plans even for maintaining them and helping them grow to your So boundaries, yes, but also standards and self-awareness.
Exactly. I totally agree. I mean, also, having set goals that you want to accomplish and then kind of writing, okay, I want, I don't know, I want a storefront. So if I want a storefront, how much money do I need to do that? Like how much money, who do I need? Do I need an investor? Like who's my support system? Like how can I move forward? What am I selling? What am I just doing the work. Obviously that you in order to run a business, you got to do the work ahead of time so that way your business succeeds. So like encouraging you to do that as well. Yeah.
Well, I was just gonna add that I go to a lot of business workshops and they say a lot of things. It's like the main block in the road for people is actually procrastination, and that's what I feel like is I feel like I'm my own. I'm the toxic person because I was gonna add into what I said at the beginning. So it's like it's the gift and the curse. So I love the flexibility of being able to do what I want to do, but it's also got to be kind of like somewhat like lazy, kind of like I get parties and like once I reach my once my bills are paid or whatever, I'm like I'm Gucci. I'm Gucci, so it's like I get complacent, and I'm really trying to get out of that because it's like I can be so much more if I just stop the procrastination and also like believe it or not, doubt. It's like sometimes your own doubt holds you back from.
I totally agree with that.
And it's just that's what I feel like I'm at right now. Where it's just like one, not being complacent with just being okay with just paying my bills. I can do so much more because
that's why I put what's your goal. That's why it says there what's goals for 2019. What's your goals? So that's kind of your goal is to get out of that complacency. What's your financial goal? What do you want to make for 2019? What is that? So that because you don't want to just be able to pay your bills. You want to have some extra so that way, so if you fall in hard times, you have to take a week off for whatever reason, you have a cushion, right? So, I think kind of like talking to like someone else that, like people in this room that do own their own business, have their own experiences, or someone that can mentor you or even just be kind of push you, would be kind of helpful towards you and, so, yeah.
I recommend a really important person to have on your team, maybe even for you, to help motivate you is a really, really good bookkeeper with a really, really good budgeting. So one motivator for me when I get comfortable and stuff with the finances is, well, how much do I have to put away for college? When you add that number to the bills, that's motivation. If that helps.
Going up, that's motivation. My daughter's competition with motivation. My son's baseball.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, get someone to
It's
budget
crazy.
that for you for like
No.
10 years.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you'll be fixed.
Nah.
Valerie?
True.
I was gonna say the same thing, just, you know, sort of recognizing the areas in which you're your own worst enemy, right? Like your own sort of like toxic person in your circle. Like I definitely operate from like a guarded space. So like I spent the majority of like growing my business and you know, probably could still say now, like, you know, not like not trying to have a circle or not like letting people sort of into what I'm doing, which like has its own, you know,
Repercussions.
problems and limitations.
Right.
So I think that like even recognizing sort of like, you know, like you said, the role that you play with yourself and how, you know, you're your own sort of like, you know, toxic like problem, you know, is really important. And I think that like especially, and I was also thinking like not necessarily with like I don't know, I deal with a lot of like contracts and like, you know, it's like the legalities of things, intellectual property.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had my stuff ripped off left and right by people close to me who've like taken my idea, like literally one that I've like proposed to them for like us to do together, and then they like ran off and then like launched the whole thing like on their own and are like flourishing because they had a bigger network than I did. You know, I'm not bitter. I might still be processing this. You know, so like I think a lot about that, right? Like, you know, having to the times in which you do need to sort of protect yourself from, you know, your circle or, you know, your support system.
May I make a suggestion?
Absolutely.
So like, you know, I totally get that hurt and
Yeah.
pain. I think for me what has really helped me to even be where I am today is me seeking counseling and seeking therapy
Right.
and being more self-aware
Yeah,
of my stuff.
absolutely.
Has totally helped me to really be like, okay, I know I have this bias, so I know I need to set this aside or to really overcome those certain biases. And
putting, like,
because the thing is, if you can't network, like all that stuff you've been through, that would hold me back from networking. Like I can
Yeah.
tell you that the stuff that I've
pretty
been
much
through.
sat 2018 out.
No,
You
and
know.
I totally get that. I used to literally seclude myself in my house because, you know, I've been hurt so much. I'm like, I don't want to deal with it anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like you have to come to a space like, okay, if I want to open my own business, I'm gonna have to network, not to talk to people. So I'm gonna have to get over this.
And putting those systems in place, you
Right,
know, like
right. The boundaries.
creating non-disclosure agreements, creating, you know, certain documents. That
Right. You live and you
protect
learn.
Your, you
Right.
know,
Building trust with people.
building trust with people is
Yes.
always a.
Non-refundable deposit. I don't think I'm gonna get married no more. Sorry. Bye. I got all this
If
food.
you can't get married.
Okay.
If you can't get the vote, they
I've
go.
done it.
So-
I had to stop that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, people changing the time or being like, oh,
Yeah, exactly. Or like doing part of, you know, like doing the research or the back work, and you're like, oh no, that's cool. When you get it, you know, you just go ahead and pay me, and that pay date never comes. Like, you know, it's like
It's
all of those
systems.
things. That systems in place is really important.
Exactly. I
they
totally
were saying
agree.
no.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're talking about right now, like how to move forward positively. And I think for me, the thing that I kind of do to stay positive is say positive affirmations. Like, you know, like I got this. Like on the way here, I was like, I got this. I can do this. You know what I mean? Listen to positive music. I was listening to Mary, you know, go get it. You know, go get your blessings. You know what I'm saying? Just to keep my mind, to just keep my mind frame or my mindset focused on what, you know, I want to do, and just to keep me hyped and energized. You know what I mean? So just, you know, I personally listen to You Are Creators, and he's Justin Perry, and he's on Instagram. He's on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I love him. He has so many different positive affirmations, and listening to that, I mean, it really has helped me. Also, you know, going to church, reading my Bible, you know, that helps a lot. And, you know, going to spiritual leaders or just talking to my church sisters and brothers about certain things, that it really helps. So I mean, like whatever support system that you do have, that you do trust, to kind of lean on that. And you know, that's why we're here at a networking event tonight, just so we can kind of meet new people and figure out, you know, what if this person or this service is something that can work for you and your business. So that's kind of why we're here. So I have another one. Do it scared, do it broke, do it when they don't understand, do it in imperfection, do it anyway. So, you know, as far as, you know, you're going to have the naysayers, like we've been talking about. You're going to have people that don't believe in you. But just, even if you found that one person that does believe in you, to hold on to that and continue to move forward and make your plan. Like, you have to believe that you can do it. It's not just going out and getting an EIN number, getting a name, and, you know, establishing your business that way and having the capital. But you have to really believe in it and put the time and work into it in order for it to work. So are you kind of willing to really do it? Are you really willing to push it forward and move forward in your business? Okay, so this is the end of my presentation. This is my business information. This is my Unbreakable Voices email, my phone number. Website will be coming soon, yay. And I do motivational speaking around self-love and self-care. It was great, you know, interacting with you. I've learned a lot, just as much as you've learned from me. I've learned from you guys tonight. I appreciate everything you guys have said. I appreciate all of you being here. You have a great evening. Go ahead and network with each other. I don't know how much time we have left, but yeah, I'm not sure how much time we have left, but you have my information. It's all in the paperwork here, the PowerPoint. And so you can reach out to me, email me if you have any questions. If there's events that you want me to speak at, I'm around. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Gardite. So this is actually the part of the presentation or the networking event where you all get to introduce yourselves, tell us what you do, why you came, if there's a special purpose, share a promotion, if there isn't, anything you want. So I'll start. I'm Sharon Toussaint Michelle. I'm the co-host of the event. My co-host wasn't able to make it tonight, but departing. I do marketing and web design for small businesses exclusively. She does professional development for industries from nonprofits to real estate. And we're just here every fourth Wednesday, same place, same time, to answer all of your marketing questions, questions. So come by, get a card. If you want to be connected with other people who maybe don't have information, tell me. I'm going to be connected after the fact. We'll all get a lovely email and some social media stuff from me. Please don't pay me. I'm excited. I guess we'll let Josh go next.
So hi everyone, I'm Josh and I'm working for Vijura. With Vijura. Yeah. So what she's doing right now is probably I'm doing as well. So she said everything for me.
Whoever.
I'm Diana Vanasian. I am kind of growing my small business. I have a little podcast network. And I'm just working on, networking. It was my first networking event, so I'm like, oh, congratulations. But yeah, just getting the channels in place to grow that as efficiently as possible.
What's the subject matter of your podcast?
Anything and everything. It started out as like video game news, and then we have a couple of like TV watch through podcasts, and then I have one that I'm pretty proud of that I kind of call Positivity Out of Sweat.
I'm Val B. I guess I've been wearing sort of two hats tonight. I am the Director of Development at Cambridge Women's Center. It's right in Central Square. We're the oldest women's center in the United States. And I am working to really get us engaged in our community. There are a lot of folks who know a little bit about us, don't really know sort of where we are or what we're still doing currently, so I'm really hoping to change that. In addition to that, I own a event production company called LIR Productions. I've been doing development, fundraising, and event planning for about 15 years professionally. So I am quite an expert in it, and I've worked for just about every sort of major nonprofit in Boston, running their events and fundraising efforts. So I'm really looking to support small businesses, particularly individuals who are looking to sort of, scale on a larger level, and help them sort of produce different events, and really increase their profile in the community.
Hi, Gardite Fougy, Unbreakable Voices, and I do motivational speaking around self-love and self-care. So, yeah.
So I'm Anita Mascarenas, and I'm an HR consultant, and I'm trying to set up an assessment and development programs for various organizations. I'm also a certified MBTI, that's like my roots type, So basically, so my business is where I would like to deliver MBTI programs and assessments for various organizations.
My name is Fatima. I found out these events because we have a class, field assignments, and they came here. But also like it shows different because we have like 10 events to go through. So I choose one that is interesting to me because I make pictures and videos. I don't have one. I see the experience with
I'm Becky Lynn. I work for the Local Enterprise Assistance Fund. And what we do is we are a small lending firm that works with small businesses in the community, like many of the businesses that I've heard of over here. And we also work with capital raising. So if you are looking to restructure your financials, or if you're looking to for other sources of funding for your business, or are looking for business consulting, feel free to reach out to me. I have a few business cards with me.
My name is Mark Michelle, and I'm Jared's husband. I volunteer for Urban Niche, and I do music.
You gotta downplay, you gotta promote it, right?
Hi everyone, I'm Mike Jacobs. I'm a retired Army veteran as well as a nurse. And my full-time profession, work and live locally in occupational health services. So my business is Christian life coaching and mentoring business, where I focus on financial coaching, health and wellness, and addiction and recovery coaching. So I services for my clients to have some impact and help them gain free from those areas of struggle.
So, hi everybody, I'm EJ. I just found this help from my friend over here, Alexis. She's taking a class, I guess, at Bunker Hill, and she asked me to come. So I'm just studying at Bunker Hill as well. I'm doing psychology and criminology. So I guess I'm a sophomore. I guess that's it.
My name's Alexis. I'm also in the same classes here over here, so communication. I'm just here to kind of hear other people's stories and kind of understand where they're coming from, just so I can kind of get a glimpse of what I like and what I don't like, or just to understand it. So it's be very nervous with what they have to say sometimes.
Cheryl, Alexis, and I have two hats too. My day job, I work down the street in athletics at Harvard University, but I've been in human resources long enough to know that, there is no freedom when you work for someone else. So I actually met Michael. We partnered together with actually a $12 billion company. They're private franchising opportunities. You don't need a lot of money to get started. It's an online consumer products company. And right now we are competing to surpass Amazon, but with a compassionate tax-paying model. We have it. Remember how Amazon got, not to digress, but remember they were in trouble for not paying taxes on the state level? Well, our company, it's online, so everybody would order products and you pay taxes on those products. And I talked to somebody in my mentorship group and I said, why do we pay taxes and Amazon doesn't? And she said, because our company founders and executives decided it was the right thing to do. They didn't wait for anybody to make them do it. And sure enough, here we are a few years later, and they're having to be made to collect taxes, which they collect from us. They're still not paying them. They collect them from us. And I was like, I was just so proud because we made the decision to do that long before anybody made us do it. And I just said, this one's for me. It's the right thing to do.
I'm Philip Thompson, executive chef for Soul Food Cuisine Catering that I started up myself. I actually just want to kind of share my personal, just something personal that happened to me, just to share some information out there. So like when I was working at a hotel, the hotel was like going into like, it was like when the recession was starting and I got laid off. And I was, like anybody else, like kind of devastated that I got laid off. But to my surprise, there is a lot of free information out there and free support out there that you would never know about until you've actually walked into the office. So it's like, it's like unemployment. It's like, and you don't even have to be unemployed to get that assistance too, which was shocking. So it's like, so since I've taken so many business courses for free, I'm actually taking an online entrepreneurship class right now through Salem State that unemployment is paid for because they have a system that a lot of people don't know about, that the state gives them money every month for programs like this that never gets used up. So it's like, take advantage of your local SBA, your SCORE, unemployment office. They have so much information in there that'll point you in the right direction. And believe it or not, starting is all you need to do. I mean, not all you need to do, but starting will get you pointed in so many right directions. Like, I've done so much since I've actually just taken the footstep. And a lot of times you're like scared and to take that step, but once you actually take it, it's not as hard as you actually think it is. A lot of businesses aren't as hard as you think it is to start up. A lot of them you start up with pennies on the dollar. A lot of them you can start up without anything, honestly. I mean, you can literally start up your own carpentry business tomorrow and you don't really need the tools in your bag and just being a consultant or whatever it is. Like, so it really opened my eyes to a lot, and just like there's so much out there that is actually free. They have workshops all around the city all the time that are giving free entrepreneur classes. I went to a free food labeling class and it had food there. So it's like there's just all types of things. And if you go to your locals, like the local SCORE website usually has a lot of stuff every single month that they're doing. You can touch up on skills like Excel, Word, Microsoft, all for free. Or if some of them are just $20, but it's worth it to just get that little bit of stuff on your resume, brush up on some skills.
And they have free business mentors, if I can jump in, like not just events. You get a business mentor with experience that retired business owners, absolutely free.
Accountant, mentors, all
exactly. Any area of business, exactly.
Where do you live stuff?
SCORE.
SCORE. If you go on score.org, they have a whole bunch of Maybe do SCORE. So every month they put like 3 months in advance of like calendars of stuff that's coming. I've been to like introduction to business. There's a whole bunch of things on there, like accounting. And the one that I'm trying to get into next is QuickBooks. They do a one on QuickBooks. They show you kind of QuickBooks, get you all set up with QuickBooks and all that. There's a bunch of stuff. That was a cherry myself. A lot of that stuff. Free as free. Especially when you start a business. I mean, I honestly believe a lot of work is what you put into it. It's not necessarily, you don't necessarily have to be a Harvard graduate to be good at business. It's really what you put into it. Like, those Harvard graduates also write books. That's the way I look at it.
Okay, I'm Elizabeth. I'm a realtor, and that's my moniker, Elizabeth the Realtor, because my last name is so long, it's just too much for people. So it's Elizabeth the Realtor. And I guess one of the things that's really different about me is that I kind of backed into being a realtor, I started off as a flipper. A lot of people never make it to the flipper stage, so I'm really good at valuation. I'm really good at being able to figure out finishes and things like that to be able to price the property correctly. But I've helped people buy below market value and work on their repair budget so that when they do buy their house and if the contractor stays within budget, they will still have some equity in the house when they're done. So I guess I can say that about myself, about being a realtor. I actually do love it. I was already getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and getting to work at 5 and leaving at 6 because I used to be a tax preparer for trust funds. So I've been vetted by the FBI and I'm used to working with billions of dollars, so it's all I love it.
My name is Bilal. I actually just started my company. It's a petroleum company. And supplied fuel to federal side, state, local, retail, commercial. But I did enjoy a lot of the stories that people had here in regards to how they got to where they are, or steps in the making, call it therapeutic aspects. I think that all encompasses being an entrepreneur itself to help you get to that next stage.
We have the space till 8:30, so it's just open networking. Now that you guys kind of know each other and what you guys do.